American Sports Connection. I am here with the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my mates. How's it going?
Good man. Braving the cold weather and the snow we had this weekend.
Oh man, the roads are like a freaking sheet of ice now because it didn't even get above freezing here today.
Nah, we've had about 3 days of below freezing, just very bitter cold weather. Windy for a couple of the days too, which makes it even worse.
Oh god, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, it's gonna come to an end quick though.
Yeah, thankfully, only one more day. Before we started, find us on social media, facebook.com/American Sports Connection, or on Twitter at AM Sports Con, CON Pod, POD, or if you want to find Jason on Twitter, A Geek of Nature, all one word.
Yep.
Alright, before we actually start on Wild Card Round this week, there's a little news that happened the last couple hours before we got on.
Yeah, just this afternoon.
That Doug Marrone has been officially hired as the Jaguars' new coach, and they gave their GM Dave Caldwell a 2-year extension, as well as hiring Coughlin as the Vice President of Football Operations.
Yeah, all three I think are pretty. The GM. A lot of people and he should have an extension, but he's brought really good talent on that team. He's done a good job, I think, talent-wise. And I guess they really like Marrone, I don't know, the guy who took the job today. I guess they really like the guy. And I think it was the last 2 games, right, is when they played under him, and they looked a lot better. Beating remember, but and Bortles looked better.
They went 1-1.
Okay, so they lost to Tennessee, but they beat Denver.
Yeah, either way, they looked much better.
Yeah, they look like a much better team under him. Coughlin, obviously, his resume is,
It speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's going to get him a job pretty much anywhere. So we'll see what he does, though, as a talent guy now, basically, as the Vice President of Football Operations is the actual title.
Yeah.
With making their future brighter.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the VP of Operations basically oversees the general manager.
Yeah, I believe he is a higher executive than the general manager, yes.
So that should be interesting.
Yeah,
I actually like the talent they have on that team.
I do too. Sorry, I was taking a drink. Yeah, I do too. I think in the next 2 to 3 years, they're a sleeper team. They're like their rebuild is probably going, but they're at the tail end of the rebuild to where I think they can start really competing soon.
Well, they have talent offensively. We talked about this. They have Robinson and Hearns and Julius Thomas and what's his name?
T.J. Yeldon.
Yeah.
Yeah, T.J. Yeldon. Yeah. I agree. He just needs to start performing better in closer games, because he's the king of the plus QB rating in the game that his team's down by like 4 touchdowns. But other than that, he's just not a very good tight game quarterback yet. But he's still a kid,
Yeah, this is only, I think, his second season or third season,
His third full season, I believe, because he was drafted a year before Mariota, so.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah, he's still got time. They just, I don't know, maybe they just got to work with him somehow.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
He'll be 25 years old in April, so he's still a kid.
It might just be the culture that he was stuck with Bradley.
Well, yeah, you got a minded head coach. It's kind of be rough on a quarterback, you know.
And Lance said that they need to dump the horrible uniforms.
Yeah, that would probably be big. Maybe rebrand. Oh,
Especially those color rush jerseys. They were terrible.
I also am not a big fan of them playing all those games in London and stuff. Like, I understand the NFL does that for attendance and everything, and maybe
Yeah, but
Jacksonville's not selling
I
out.
don't know, man. But they throw them over there almost every year, it seems like.
Well, like twice a year sometimes. Hey, look, this is an Eagles fan and you're an Eagles fan. Wouldn't it make you mad if the Eagles play 2 games a year over in London?
Hell yeah, because it would take away home games.
Exactly, and I just don't. I don't. It's just something I don't agree with.
No, I completely agree with you. Plus, you would figure the travel lag.
Exactly.
Because that's, I'm not sure how long a flight is, but it's got to be at least 3-4 hours.
I think it's more like a 6-hour flight.
I know, I'm not really sure. That's why I was guessing low.
And you're losing hours of time while you're in the air. Not only are you're going hours plus you're jumping forward like 5 hours. So it's just not. It's not something that a professional athlete should have to adjust to in the NFL, especially.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. All right, well, now let's move on. What did you think of Wild Card Weekend?
I thought 4 teams looked really good, and unfortunately, all 4 of those teams were in 4 different games. I saw a stat that said this was the highest point differential in a wild card round, right? Since the wild card was started,
Yeah.
1990.
It was just they were bad games. They really were.
Yeah, none of the games to me had any chance of, like, second half. Like, it was over almost, right? At the half.
Two of the games kept it close for about a half, and then after that, the other teams kind of pulled away.
Yeah, the Seattle game was actually the fourth when that was over. When it was like they really laid it on them.
Yeah.
And then the Bay game was the fourth quarter as well, when it really got out of hand. But I mean, the big individually, but that's.
To start off, on Saturday, the wild card round, we have the Texans beating Oakland 27-14.
Man, I'll tell you what, dude. I think we can agree on this. Brock Osweiler did not look like a regular season Brock Osweiler.
No.
He didn't have a great game, but he didn't turn the ball over.
And he didn't hurt him.
And it was it. He ended up with a 90 QB rating, which is pretty good. He was a good game manager and everything. Really nice footballs too.
Like
he looked.
The one down the sideline to Hopkins.
Yes, he threw a few footballs, and Hopkins actually dropped one of them too. But he looked really good, man. Well, maybe not really good. He looked good. And for Brock Osweiler to look good, that's a turnaround.
I was going to say, maybe it's because good is actually really good.
Yeah, when he looks good, Houston probably feels really good about it, too.
And the other thing that I noticed in this game was Clowney playing like a man possessed. Yeah,
let's get into a couple other things as well here. They did Carlos' team, so I'm not. Houston's season is ending next weekend or this weekend. Cook, he did throw 3 touchdown passes, but he did not look good.
No,
I'm sorry, one. He threw 1 touchdown pass. Sorry.
I think they only had like 2 first downs going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Raiders got the shaft this season, man. They had it. They were rolling. They were looking great with Carr, and then ran into the broken leg and
then Malcolm got hurt in that game, and their center got hurt in the game, and Crabtree. It just all fell apart.
Yep, it just
Bad
the
luck.
Raiders just bad luck, man. That's all you can say. They fell into a black hole.
But the future's bright because my buddy Adam was really upset over this game. I told him, I said, look, I said they accomplished one goal. They made it back to the postseason. Now, the goal would be, if I was a fan, to win a playoff game.
Yeah, and I think all considered with what happened this year, what they have going into next year, I think the Raiders come out next year as being one of the favorites to go into the playoffs and do something. Again, if they stay healthy. I mean, sometimes it's just bad luck, man. Like, you never know what's going to happen next year. This year, unfortunately, they got the short end of the stick. If you're a fan of the Raiders right now, I would have a lot of optimism, looking forward.
First time they could say that in probably a decade.
Absolutely. They have a good football team. I think their head coach is he's a decent enough coach. They have talent on both sides of the ball, too, and I think that's big that they have it on both sides of the ball. To get better, man. They have an off-season, they have a draft, and they can fill a couple little, I won't say holes, but cracks be on both and look even better.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. All right. We have Seattle eventually pulling away and beating up on the Lions. To say.
I mean, I think we'll both agree with on this one is that Seattle's playoff defense showed up.
Yes.
That defense in the season is a totally different beast. It's a different monster, man, when they get into the postseason. And by the way, what's that guy's name? Paul Richards made the play of the weekend. That one-handed catch around the defender. Yeah, that's the play of the weekend. I don't care about that Hail Mary in the Packers game that, Randall Cobb shoved the guy off and didn't get called, but we'll talk about that. Rawls, too. Thomas Rawls had, I guess you would say, coming out party with 161 yards rushing.
And that's how they win in the postseason. They run the ball and play good defense.
Yep, they beat you with defense, and they pound it on the other side of the ball, and they're always going to get good quarterback play out of Russell Wilson.
Because
he had another game.
Yeah, because this was a 10-6 game going into the fourth quarter, and then Seattle just basically, I think, wore the Lions out.
Let me ask you a question. Going into the fourth quarter at 10-6, though, did you ever have the feeling like Detroit was going to do something to win the game? Because I never did. Yeah, I never did.
I see it just for something interesting to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with you. I always felt like the game was in hand.
Yeah, I kept thinking about the game, and I was just like, well, it's 10-6, and like Detroit's sitting right there, but they haven't done anything to make me think they're going to make a play to win the game, and then they just never did. And I'm not saying it's their fault. I just think they got beat by a defense that had, February, it's the Super Bowl runs again.
Well, and let's face it, Seattle knows what they have to do to win the postseason and the championship. The Lions don't.
Yeah, the Lions have no idea at all. They have no clue whatsoever what it takes to win a Super Bowl. They're kind of learning on the fly there, and they learned quick about how good Seattle's defense is.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, next we have the Steelers putting a thumping on the Dolphins, 30-12.
Yeah, this game, a lot of people I saw online said if Tannehill was playing in this game, it would have been different. I totally disagree.
Yeah.
Matt Moore played a good game.
Remember when I messaged you when I came home, I was like, dude, the score is really deceiving because Matt Moore had a good game.
Yeah, other than the interception to Ryan Shazier, was it. The problem with this game is Miami's offensive line got beat to death by Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
5 sacks, A guy 2.1 yards, average for 3 yards. They eliminated him from the game. That's the game right there. Once they took running game from Miami out of it, which they knew they had to because it's how they got beat by Miami earlier this year.
Your day against them.
Yeah, they took him out of the game. He was a non-factor. He did turn the ball over 3 times because he lost 2. Hit all over the place, you do. He was a decent game manager. This was another game from the start that I never thought Miami had a chance, especially when Antonio Brown. And this actually was the first time Pittsburgh's played a playoff game with Brown, Bell, and Roethlisberger, all 3 in the lineup at the same time. I actually heard that yesterday. I think it was Phil Simms dropped that. But
they sure
I never,
like you said, you had messaged me the day of that game because you had said Antonio Brown hadn't scored a postseason touchdown.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I think he took that personally.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did it all week because I remember hearing it a couple times going in the game. Antonio Brown, he's a huge regular season player, but he's never had a postseason touch. Well, Antonio Brown said, you know what, screw that. Give me the football, and what's he do with it on his first touch of the game, right?
50-some yard screen pass, turned into a touch.
Yep, gone. 50 yards on the dot. Next possession, slant pattern, 62 yards, gone. And that's all they needed.
They really the Dolphins, basically.
Yeah, Matt and Le'Veon actually came out too and showed you why he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. he really had a game too.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch as just postseason is on.
Yeah, I think they're the one team in the AFC, New England. Yes. That's my team that I think has the best possibility of beating New England.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, next we have the Packers eventually pulling away and beating on the Giants 38-13.
Yeah, you go and you look at the stat sheet for this game, and the first thing you look at is Odell Beckham 4 catches and 28 yards, and you shouldn't have to look at the score to know who won the football game, in my opinion.
I agree.
Green Bay's defense looked very good. There was secondary guys that were getting all the stuff for the Giants pass game. The Perkins guy led them in rushing for the Giants. Green Bay's defense looked like they were playoff ready, and
the Giants
played a really good game.
It looked like they didn't want to play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, everybody's going to say the boat stuff or whatever. I don't care about that boat stuff. The Giants just got beat, man. That's all there is to it.
That's all you're going to hear.
Yeah, another thing is, too, dude, is you can tell who really wanted to play on Sunday. Clay Matthews wanted to play. Yeah. Came out, that sack, strip, and then ran down and smacked the Giant dude in the mouth and got the ball back for the recovery. Everybody gave up on that play. It was crazy.
He was playing possessed.
Yeah, he looked like a guy who the run of the ring because his career. He's at the end of his career.
Yeah, I think he's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, he's not a kid anymore. He's let me see. I'll tell you right now how old he is. 30 years old. He's got a lot of miles on them. 30 years of football.
Yeah, because he's had a lot of soft tissue injuries.
Yeah, Rodgers looked great. Devontae Adams looked great. Randall Cobb looked great. Green Bay, once again, with a Hail Mary at the end of the half, completes it and catches a touchdown, which I think might have been the backbreaker to the Giants. I think when that hit them and it put them down 14-6 instead of 7-6, it kind of turned that game around a lot.
I agree with you. Lance asking the $1 million question, and we talked about this last night, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I think I said it to you. Are the Giants going to try to trade Odell Beckham Jr.? Is that what he asked?
Yeah, he said, has he burned out his welcome?
I think that's what I messaged you after the game, didn't I?
Yeah.
That I believe that they're going to try to.
Oh, no. What it was is I messaged you, and I was like, did you hear what Odell Beckham did where after he talked to the press, he put a hole in the wall?
Yeah.
And then
I thought it was. Wasn't it the other way around?
No, something like that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think I messaged you. I don't know, but remember I predicted that last night. I said I think they're going to try to move him.
I think they have to. He's become too much of a knucklehead.
Yeah, I don't.
Not in the sense of doing like illegal activities, not when he's not on the field. But it's just he's become like a problem child.
You did message me that he put the hole in the wall. Yeah, and I laughed, and then you said sore loser, and I said I think they may actually look into trading him this offseason. So you did message me. I just wanted to make sure that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting, today their GM said that Eli Manning is declining now.
Well, he said he's on the back nine of his career.
Yeah,
was what he said.
Basically the same thing.
Well, because the back nine of a golf, he kind of said it in a nicer way. I mean, come on, it's kind of stating the obvious. The guy is like 35, 36 years old. He's on the back three of his career. He's already played 15 holes, so
it's just interesting because I read something that people were like, "Oh, the Giants need to get playmakers around Odell Beckham." I'm like, what are you talking about? They got Sterling Shepard. That the tight end, has turned into a really good tight end.
Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
Who had not really a good year, but I mean, I don't know. The Giants just, I don't know. They're just a team that I think they got hurt. The Eagles beating them that one night, that Thursday night, I think really hurt them.
And the Eagles basically kind of took their will from them a little bit in that game.
Yeah, they ended up beating the Redskins to close out the year, but they still didn't look that good. I mean,
they didn't need the game, so it was like they really didn't have to get up to play for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Giants are the Giants, man. I think their run as a team with this team, I think it might be coming to an end.
Yes.
I think they might have one more year left, and then they might be in a little bit of trouble.
The other thing about this game is, to me, Aaron Rodgers is, and I told you this, he just looks white hot right now.
I think he's another guy who is looking at the postseason because he's 33 years old. So he doesn't have a ton left in him,
Yeah. I
think he's starting to really look at this as being maybe his last run, maybe this year, next year, looking not so...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, he doesn't know how many more chances he's going to get.
Yeah, he's on the back nine, like the Giants guy said.
But I would not want to play that team right now.
Yeah, they're a team that's healthy now, and they seem to have the running back situation figured out with Ty Montgomery.
Yeah. Okay. Not to cut
and Christian
you off.
Michael.
Yes. Not to cut you off, Anthony Remy in our chat asks, is it time for the Giants to start to rebuild?
One more year.
Because they don't really have a solution for when Eli retires.
Yeah, I think they should draft his replacement this year.
Because I think they drafted the kid from Syracuse, the Nassib.
Yeah, Nassib or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I think one more year, man, is what they really should look at, for sure. Because Eli's still a good quarterback. He might not be like, his name is Nassib. I said Nassib. I don't know why. That kid is going to be 27 though. The kid they drafted from Syracuse.
They might have to spend a higher pick on a guy to groom.
Yeah, they don't have anybody behind Eli. Like anybody that I think that might be what they want to do this year, man. It might be time to start looking at one more season, like next season, maybe try to make a run, but also draft for the season after, if it makes any sense, you know? Because they're right on the verge, I think, of being a rebuild team. They're like what's a team that would be a good? I'm trying to think of a team like Dallas. Kind of did it, you know. They just happened to really hit a home run with their picks this year, and they also got Sean Lee back playing really well and stuff. But they're a team that seems like they need to start looking at 2018. You know.
Yep. I completely agree. Now, all right. We're gonna, before we make these picks, we actually made the picks last week, but my freaking voice recorder messed up, so you actually couldn't hear Jason when we did the show.
Yeah.
So, if you want,
sorry.
you could go over who finished better in the regular season and how we did for the wild card round.
Oh, you mean the last week of the regular season?
Yeah.
I have 5 losses. You had 6. I think that's how we should shouldn't really go deep into it because it doesn't really mean anything at this point.
Okay.
This wild card round, I had 0 losses this week. Actually, I got all 4 right, and you had Oakland was your only loss, so it was 0-1 this week. I think that puts us.
Remember, you said you're a playoff performer.
Yeah, it seems like I can nail the picks in the playoffs for some reason. I think we have a 2-pick difference between us in a whole as a whole right now, the regular season and playoffs. So we'll figure it out once it's all done. I'll just tell you, who won it all. All right, you ready for this week?
Yes.
Well, there's not many of them, obviously. Seattle at Atlanta.
I'm actually going to take Seattle for the simple fact of what I saw of their playoff defense. If they can replicate what they did, they will beat Atlanta.
That's who I'm going, Seattle 100%.
Plus, I don't trust Atlanta.
Playoffs. Yeah, all right. I just actually saw this today. It's a 16-point line. The Patriots are 16-point favorites. Houston at New England.
Wow.
I know who you're taking in this one.
Yeah, if there was a lock for the divisional round, this is your lock of the week, the Patriots.
Yeah, I'll take the Patriots. I don't know if I'll take them minus 16, but they're going to win the football game.
That's a really high line, especially for a postseason game.
All right, and they were the 2 Saturday games. Here's the 2 Sundays for you. Pittsburgh at Kansas City.
I've really been debating, going back and forth on this one, but Pittsburgh's going to go into Kansas City and beat them.
I agree. That's who I picked. That's who I wrote down. Pittsburgh is my team, I think. I think I might ride them to possibly win the Super Bowl this year. I'm not 100% on it because the Patriots are obviously there. But I think they're going to beat Kansas City this weekend. I'd almost guarantee that one too.
And the weird thing is, I don't know if you remember this. They really throttled Kansas City earlier in the season. Yeah,
it was the week after the Eagles beat Pittsburgh 34-3. Yeah, they came out. I believe it was a Sunday night game. They annihilated them, and that's the Pittsburgh team I think you're going to see this week as well, because you saw it yesterday against Miami.
Yeah.
In the final game of this week's divisional playoffs, the Green Bay at Dallas.
This is the one that was really hard for me. I have to lean towards Green Bay for the simple fact of Aaron Rodgers and a lot of their guys know what it takes to win in the postseason. And Dallas's two big guys at the skill positions have never played a playoff game.
Yeah, they've never played a playoff snap.
Yeah.
They've never even seen a playoff field yet. So I agree. So we agree on all four this week, so we can't have a difference in picks.
Yeah, Lance is saying he's taking Dallas because Green Bay got big injuries last night, so I see them getting beat now.
Lance is taking Dallas because Lance is a Dallas fan.
I understand what he's saying about the Jordy Nelson thing, though.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson got hurt last night. The only problem with that is Jordy Nelson is the third best receiver on that team behind Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is not hurt. And that's why I think Dallas just is not going to beat them.
It really all comes down to if Green Bay can stop Ezekiel Elliott. That's what it really comes down to.
Exactly. That's probably.
If you can get off the field defensively, you will win.
Exactly, and I mean,
I look at it like this, and I've told you this off air. Green Bay got demolished by Dallas earlier this season. Aaron Rodgers had 4 turnovers in this game. Probably his worst game this season, maybe his career. So that's not going to happen again.
He was also playing hurt, too, that week. I mean,
too.
Yeah, Green Bay was playing hurt as a team that week. And the Jordy Nelson injury aside, yeah, in my opinion right now, they are two different teams. What they were earlier in the year, and that's why that's why I think Green Bay goes down there and wins.
Which would set up Green Bay and Seattle again.
Yep. And then
I wonder where the game would be if that happened.
It would be in Seattle because of the tie. Seattle has the half a game on them because of the tie. I'm gonna confirm that right now, actually.
That would be very interesting then.
Yes. Seattle's 10-5-1, Green Bay 10-6, so the game would be in Seattle.
So the tie actually did him a favor if it comes to that.
Look, I'm gonna put it like this to you: if Dallas beats Green Bay this week, Dallas is not beating Seattle next week. That's just my opinion. If Dallas beats Green Bay this week and Atlanta beats Seattle, Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. That's just my prediction, but. I
just have a hard time believing that Atlanta is going to be able to get by Seattle.
I have no belief that Atlanta's getting by Seattle. I don't think Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta even had a better road record this year than they did at home. And Seattle's not the same team on the road, but it's playoff Seattle, not regular season Seattle.
Even without Earl Thomas, they're still looking okay. I mean, granted, it was against the Lions, so we'll see what they can do against a team that's loaded.
Hey, the Lions were a healthy playoff team, though, so...
I know, but I meant they don't have the weapons that the Falcons do.
No, they absolutely don't. I agree with that 110%.
Like Lance just said, if Atlanta wins, they're going to have to win like 50-45.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to come. They're not even going to. They couldn't score that many points off of Seattle's defense in 8 quarters, I think.
Yeah,
let alone 4.
And then they're going to be motivated. I'll say that, Atlanta, because they had that controversial ending to the game when they played them out there.
Yeah, it was the pass interference, right? The non-pass interference call. Richard Sherman tackles the guy, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. We'll see.
It's going to be fun, that's for sure. I'm excited because usually the divisional round is the most exciting round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, you did see that the Eagles fired Greg Lewis, right, as their wide receivers coach?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I didn't know. That's really not a big story, so I just happened to remember
I saw that
right now.
I was like, I guess they want a veteran, well-known coach, I guess you would say.
I mean, Greg Lewis didn't seem like a good hire to begin with, did he? Because he wasn't a very good receiver, and he doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah, like Lance just said, it's the best time of the year because it's the playoffs, but it's the worst because the season is close to being over.
I agree, man. It's bittersweet. I hate it. Like, I love watching the games. Like, I'm gonna miss Saturday's games, which kind of stinks. But I hate that. I hate that. We know we only have like what is it? 4 to 6 football games left. 5, 7 football games left.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah, and I'm not counting the Pro Bowl because I won't watch that if you paid me.
No, I ain't watching that crap.
Yeah, but it's like cool, man. Like,
and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, Sunday though is the day that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, because those are 2 high-profile games.
Yep, they're the 2 games I really want to see because I think the Saturday games aren't going to be that good.
Or I would say more so the night game.
Yeah.
Which is the Patriots.
Yeah.
Because we all know, minus this past game, usually when the Texans play in prime time, especially on the road, they look like dog shit.
Absolutely.
Because they've looked terrible all season when they've been in prime time.
Well, remember Thursday night going in, we were like, oh, the Patriots have a backup quarterback, Brady's out. This might be a good game. Houston might beat them. And then it was just not a good game. And they're playing Brady this time.
Yeah, they're not playing Connor Cook.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, one more thing, dude.
Good.
I don't mean to cut you off. Who do you have winning the football game tonight? Alabama, Clemson.
Oh, I'm leaning towards Alabama.
Yeah, I'm fully on Alabama's side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get your prediction on that real quick. Yeah.
Lance said here in the chat he hates the Sunday morning games because it's, 1 o'clock Eastern, the game on Sunday?
The
first.
Yeah, it should be, right? Yeah, 105, yeah.
So it's like 10 o'clock for him.
I agree. I think playoff weekend, both games should start at 4 and 8. Or maybe like 3 and 7 or something. I'd side with Lance on that one. I think that especially for people who are in Western time zones like that, and even maybe Mountain with the 2-hour difference, I agree. That's a good point, man. At least he gets Dallas at 1 o'clock, 1:40 his time to watch his game.
Yeah, he said for tonight's game he wants Clemson, but he can't see it.
Yeah, I agree with him on that one. I would like to see Clemson win it, but I just think Alabama is too good. I think they're going to power them. I think they're going to, they're Alabama. What can you say, man? They're a football factory down there. They're NFL light is what I call them.
Yeah, that's how good they are.
Yeah, they put easily the most players in the NFL. Every year.
Lance said he would watch Dallas at midnight.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's his team, but what I mean is...
I saw an interview that Saban and I can't remember the Clemson coach's name.
Dabo Swinney.
Yes, they did today.
Who actually is an Alabama graduate. He played football and won a national title with Alabama.
Yeah, apparently they're like really good friends.
Yeah, they are, and I think that's like the story of the game right now is like, can Dabo Swinney beat like his mentor in his former college? Because he was a coach for Alabama for 8 years, I believe it was. He played for him. He graduated from the school,
and then he finally got his chance.
Yeah, he was their wide receivers or quarterbacks coach, and and then he finally job at Clemson, and now he's probably I'll say third best coach in college football behind Urban Saban.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, we just turned this into a slash NCAA show, I think.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Yep.
Now we're gonna head out, so
Yes.
we'll be back. We'll be back next week. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. So everybody have a great night, and if you want, go watch the college game because this should be a good one.
Yes, watch it.
All right, have a good night, everybody.